All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Inside Texas. I'm Jeff Michaels, and that's Mitch Thames over there, your PIO, your Public Information Officer, your man about town, the county attorney, the man that owns the county, the man that just bought Bay City. I just thought we'd get that rumor going, too.
Yeah, spread some rumors, man.
These are rumors, man. Yeah, so first of all, I'm not going to mess around a whole lot here in the beginning. First of all, I want to thank everybody for the birthday wishes. Thank you very much. Getting 60, and Mitch looks better than me, and Mitch is 100, but Mitch looks a lot better than me. At 60, I'm falling apart.
Oh man, I have a new pain every day when I get up.
This is what I do. If I wake up and I don't see candles and smell flowers, I get up.
Yeah,
that's it anymore. That's it. Done with it.
Well, my good friend, the late Willie Rollins, said it's better to be seen than viewed.
That is true. That is true. But I get an audience every morning. They put a mirror under my nose to see if I'm going to keep going or not.
I hear you, my friend.
I don't know what they do.
Old is not for the weak.
No. Nolan Ryan throws 98-mile-an-hour fastballs and breaks a rotator cuff. Me, I roll over and splint a hip. It's dead. It's just ridiculous. It's crazy. Appreciate everybody that's been watching throughout the week at different times. I had 4 or 5 people come up to me and say, "Hey, thanks for doing what you're doing, Mitch and you." And I said, "No problem. Thanks." They can't watch it on a Monday night. They'd rather watch it on a Tuesday, or the school teachers actually watch it during break and stuff like that. So, good job to those, and congratulations to the class of 2025 in Bay City and Tidehaven and Palacios and Van Vleck. James Scardamai actually texted me telling me how much weight he lost, and he took a picture with my daughter, and he actually got to present my daughter with her diploma.
All right.
Yeah. So he was texting me while he was there. He should have been working. He was texting, but James, just on the record, you look good, buddy. You look good. If I had blonde hair and a dress, watch out. You never know. You never know.
First here, folks.
You never know. His wife's gonna kill me. All right. Anyway, we got a lot of things to talk about. I was thinking of one earlier, but we got so much. Let's do this one. Let's go over what you guys talked about. The Quiet Zone public town hall meeting was on Thursday.
Read a couple of great accounts in the newspapers, both the Tribune and the Sentinel. I knew it was I was afraid that people were going to misunderstand, and I think there were some statements that could be misunderstood, although I believe that people made it, and that is the fact that the city is on track to bring in quiet zones.
No pun intended.
And that may be a true statement. I'm not saying it's not. But when you really look down at the report that this engineering company did, it's quite telling. The UP line, and that's the line that goes east and west, I think it's in better shape than any of the lines. But there are even current crossings that don't all the way come up to code, much less the quiet zone code. There are some things that I'm assuming they're grandfathered. UP is responsible for those crossings. But if we go into the quiet zone world, then the city will be responsible for all the crossings. Okay. And that's quite a financial hit. I did read, the first step, and this is probably a 5 or 6 year process. They've just completed the first part of the first step, and that's evaluating what all needs to be done. And so the report indicated some of the crossings might be as cheap as $70,000, and some might be as expensive as $200,000. I did think it was funny because one more time, this has happened 100 times, they started talking about what crossings they could close. And then it didn't even take 30 seconds as well. Don't close that crossing. And if you'll remember, there's like 7 crossings on the UP line. There's like 9 crossings on the BNSF line. Now that was more interesting to hear that report. That's the one that goes north and south.
Correct.
And 4 crossings don't even have guards on them. 2 of the crossings are private. And so I don't know what you would do for quiet zones on the BNSF line, because it looked to me like that they don't even meet the minimum standards today. I know the one the one that we go to the Lions warehouse, it doesn't even have arms. You've got to look when you go pull up there. So, guys and gals, I'm all for a quiet zone. Trust me, I'm here next to the tracks. Well, not next, but a mile or 2 from the tracks. I hear it. Wakes me up from time to time. But I just want us to pay attention to the cost. And I'm sick of listening to you say out there in the radio world that as much as I pay in city taxes, they ought to be able to do it for free. Well, that ain't reality. We'll get to that next with the charges they want to charge with the pool. I just want us to be mindful that we don't ask our elected officials to give us things, provide things for us, and then we find ourselves in the poorhouse. Because I think we're getting to a point with appraisals and taxes and insurance and windstorm and the cost of living. I think we're getting close to pricing people out of their homes.
Yeah.
And so I want you to be careful. I want quiet zones, but be careful what you ask elected officials to do, because that's what elected officials want to do, is to give you what you ask for. But when you're asking for something that's going to be $5, $6, $7, $8 million, they're liable to give it to you and then raise your taxes to be able to pay for that. And so I want you to be careful. I want quiet zones just like the next person, but I don't want my taxes going up 10 and 12 cents per $100 valuation for it. I don't. We can't afford it. And we've got elderly individuals in our community and people on fixed incomes and single moms. And you might can afford it. I've heard people say, well, I can afford that. Well, not everybody can. You think about others, think about your neighbors. But I think we're on the process. We're on the path. We just paid, I don't remember, $80,000. I'm going to make a number up, for this consultant to come back and do all this work. We're not anywhere closer to a quiet zone, but we're $80,000 out. I mean, and of course the engineering company loves us because we're spending money with them to go through and do all this studies. He talked a lot about the federal laws and the rail laws. None of that was new. You can read the Tribune and the Past Sentinels and get all of that information. One more time, it's coming up. I know there's people driving it. Had about 25 people attend. If you'll remember, that was on the same night as our chamber fundraiser, so I wasn't able to attend because my question would have been, in the end, what is this going to cost and can we afford it? So, but the answer is anywhere from $70,000 per crossing to $200,000 per crossing. And you multiply that in the 7 crossings, 8 crossings. They talked about the 457. They talked about Nichols. They talked about Highway 60, Avenue F. But you've got others that you could close that crossing and drive 2 blocks east, 2 blocks west, and cross. But I know not a lot of people they don't want to be inconvenienced the 10 seconds. So
you're looking at anywhere between $800,000 to $1.5 million.
Somewhere in there. And so the city takes the liability. They put in all the necessary equipment to keep people from either walking across or driving across illegally. I mean, medians, the arms, extended arms, the list just goes on and on. I know everybody talks about El Campo. El Campo has one quiet crossing on 71.
Yeah.
One. We're not talking one. If we were talking one, I'd be all over it. Mm-hmm. Now, I tell you how you do get to where we need to be is close about 4 of them and have UP pay you to close those. Then you have the money to make all the other ones quiet zones.
That's right.
But that's not what people will do. They'll start. The first thing they'll do is start. Well, if you delay an ambulance by 30 seconds or a fire truck by 30 seconds, and my house is going to burn down and I'm going to die. Yeah, that's a true statement.
You know what, Mitch? I think, and I'm going to say it, and I don't care. I don't live in Bay City. I have a business in Bay City. I think priorities are getting crossed. I feel that, and I'm not the only one that feels that way. There's the priorities are getting crossed. I certainly would hope to God, and I will ask councilmen, what is the top priority? What is the top priority for Bay City? What's the top? Then what's the next one? Then what's the next one after that? Are crossings really going to, and my question would be, are crossings really going to be the future that will move the city ahead, that will futuristically move it ahead? To me, no. What moves the city, I think, would move the city future ahead. Let's work on the plumbing and the sewer stuff and all this stuff. Put that money in there. Let's get that going and worked on.
I know, but Jeff, let me remind you. Now, when you've got people writing about it in the paper or talking about it on radio, you've got people going to city council meetings. That's what I'm talking about, getting in the arena. Mm-hmm. These 10, 12, 25 people that are driving this are loud and they're consistent and they're asking for can't the city do something? So as an elected official, I do what the constituents want, right? Yeah, you're right. A sewer, water, but those aren't glamorous and those don't get headlines.
Well, I think everybody has this thing. I shouldn't say everybody. I think there's certain people that run for office that are willing to listen to some squeaky wheels and get with the finger point at them. But after all, overall, the majority is what votes for you. It's not one single person. It's not 4 single people. It's not 6 single people. I mean, have they ever put anything out to vote for these, for the or to have people?
I don't think that's how it works, but
no, I'm just saying it could. Why not? It could work that way. If you ask people, ask people to see if my taxes are going to go up, I want to know why, and I want to be able to vote on it. I want to be able to vote on something that's going to affect me. If it's going to affect me and I have nothing to do, it's like the water. I'm not gonna be. I have a business here, like I said, but no home here anymore. But them doing the water and the water bill going up, that affects me. I'm still paying the water for it, or electricity going up or whatever. It affects me. So, and I know people are going to say, Jeff, you're an ass, whatever. Just say, no, if you sit back and common sensely think about this, what is the main priority and work down from there? And I know it's hard to do because some of those priorities are very, very, very expensive. They're very expensive.
Well, it's just like the public safety building, the old Kmart.
Yeah.
I don't know what the real number is to remodel that. I've read numbers that I'm not going to talk about because I haven't quantified it, and I think people are being a little exaggerating a little on some of that. But it's not going to be cheap. At one point, and this was early on, I heard $6 million talked about. And do we need a new police station? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, bad. I mean, when you go over there, those officers are on top of each other. The roof leaks. The building's old. It's bad. Do we need a new police station? I believe we do.
Yeah.
Is it convenient to have a new police station and new municipal courts with today's security and safety? Yes. And I don't know what all else is being planned for that building. I've got my list of other things I'm working on, and that's not one of them. But that is, I know we're working on the water. I know there's plans for additional water. I know there are thoughts of tying water lines together, all of it to benefit. It's where does the money come from? Right. One of the reasons they went up on our rates was to pay the Texas Water Development Board loans back. Right. So we got grants, but we also got loans, and those loans come with a payment plan and interest, and you've got to pay that off. And I think that's why our water sewer rates keep going up. I think I fixed my problem with the meter, and I haven't been getting emails anymore. So, but yeah, there's a lot goes on. The roads are expensive. Asphalt's expensive. You got county commissioners, complaining because they don't have enough money in the county budget to do roads like they want to. Cities the same way. All that asphalt costs money. All that equipment costs money. Engineering. There's no sense, and because I think it makes a lot of sense. There's no sense in going and repairing a road when under the road you've got bad water lines and bad sewer lines.
Yes.
Because then you're just going to dig the road up you just put down.
Yeah. That's why
now you got to worry about new water lines, new sewer lines,
right.
Then a new road.
Right. Yeah.
So I know it's a priority. I'm asking the public, not council, make sure that's what you want, because those of you, there's one claim out there that it's costing years off of a person's life because the horn is detrimental in some way and takes years off your life. Well, I don't know. I live on the same road as the hospital, and I hear ambulances all day and night. Now, is that short?
Isn't it funny how you can hear the ice cream truck coming down the street, but you can't hear the train? I never got that. Why do people? I got hit by a train, but I got ice cream earlier. What? You heard the ice cream truck, but you didn't hear the train.
I just think people have to have a realistic look. And by the way, might as well say this now, Jeff. This is budget time. If you think the city is flush with cash, how many budget meetings have you sat through? If you think the county is flush with cash, man, if I hear that one more time, I think I'm just going to scream.
Yeah, I hear it too.
I mean, as much as I pay in taxes, what do you pay? How much did you pay? How much was your city taxes? And they can't tell me. You pay 9. I don't know. Different people are different. There's 9 taxing entities that I pay for on this property here in Bay City, Texas. 9 taxing entities. I write one great big check to Miss Cook at the tax collector assessor's office. Then she turns around and writes 9 checks out to different entities. She writes a check to the city. She writes a check to the school district. She writes a check to the county. She writes a check to the drainage district. I don't know if you know it, but you pay taxes on your drainage district. You've got conservation reclamation that's taking care of the levees along the Colorado River. Right. You may not know there's levees, but you pay for that.
Right.
Now, and I keep bringing up the fact that I think we need a flood district. Well, we can't get a flood district. We can't get the people to vote for a flood district. Okay. We need the emergency services district.
Yeah, badly.
Can you get the community to vote to tax themselves for out in the county more money for the volunteer fire departments? I don't know. I mean, what is the limit? It kind of segues into the pool. You know, the city made the decision to up the fees from $1 a person to $4 a person. And you would think the world had come unglued. And I heard it again. As much as I pay for my water bill, we ought to be able to swim for free. Well, what does it cost to run a swimming pool? Well, what is the lifeguards? Are they volunteers or are they getting paid? Who's supervising the lifeguards? Who's insuring the pool and its product? Who's buying the product? Your water bill that you pay basically pays to maintain the water line. It is the way I see it. People's misconception of cost, and I loved the one. I don't know who it was. I could tell it was an older gentleman. He said, "Well, when I went to the pool, it was 25 cents. 25 cents a day."
You can't you can't sit in your bathtub for 25 cents anymore. No.
What was the price of gas when you were paying 25 cents?
That's right.
What was the price of a loaf of bread? What was the salary structure? I mean, I remember back when I started with Bell in the 70s, I made $154 a week. $154 a week. No. Things didn't cost. Gas was what, 35 cents a gallon?
About 35, yeah.
You know, and so anyway, but I just think people, you've got to stop and educate yourself. Quit embarrassing yourself.
There's a whole lot to put together. If you don't understand, a business, you have to be business minded or business oriented, have some sense of business to run a city. Because that's how it runs. It runs like a business. You got bills to pay.
That's right.
You got money going out. You got money coming in. You have to decide where that money's going to go. Do you hire more employees because business is up? Do you lose employees because business is down? Do you need new structure to the town? Do you need to add another office, for something else that's going on? There is a lot to do. I get it. I 100% get it. And if you ever want me to teach you about it, I'd be more than happy to do it for you.
Yeah.
But the thing is, to me, going back to the very first part that we started talking about, priorities. I just think we need to look at priorities. Let the council come up and say to us, or say to the folks in Bay City, hey, these are our priorities, and this is what we're looking at. Because people don't know. They're not going to come to the damn meeting. I'm telling you. The whole city's not going to come to the meeting. Not everybody gets the paper. Not everybody listens to the radio or online radio or watch with it. They just guess. They'll look at something and assume or whatever, and that's where all the BS starts. So if you want to know something that's going on,
I think the council does, and the commissioner's court too, does do a pretty good job when they're allocating the budget.
Yeah,
that is setting priorities. Certainly law enforcement, I would think safety and security is way up there. The infrastructure is certainly something that they're charged with as well. I can, well, you and I could look at a budget and tell you, just looking where they're spending money, where the priorities are.
Yeah.
Now, I have disagreed with 100 politicians with some of their choices.
Right.
I won't name names, but a brand new city, an $800 million city, 2-story city hall was dumb.
Mm-hmm.
When one of the mayors was pushing a 2-story magnificent structure, making a brand new city hall. Now, is that building that city hall's in, does it need to be replaced? Yeah, probably does. I'm sure it's old, but not the monstrosity that was being talked about at the time.
Right.
There are good decisions, and then there are exorbitant decisions.
Right.
I think for the most part, council does a good job of prioritizing security, police. They've got to worry about the price of gas for police cars, the price of a police car, salaries that are going on. I will tell you, with the fight in Harris County in the city of Houston over police officers' pay, will affect us. I mean, they in city almost gave a 36% increase. Went from starting salaries in the 50s to moved them up to the 80s. Mm-hmm. That will have an effect on us, because if I'm making $50,000 here in Bay City, and I can make $80,000, don't you think I would move for $30,000 a year?
Yeah, I do know that the police department and the sheriff's department both got bumps, raises here in Bay City, but not a lot. A jump, a little jump to make it go up. Talking to both sheriff's department side and the police department side,
I know.
Which I do live.
And you better start looking. Here's the other thing that a lot of people don't. And we've done a really good job of exposing or discussing the low salaries in the sheriff's department, because I know Sheriff De Leon is significantly shorthanded in office staff.
Yes.
And that plays really well until you're a department head or you're a countywide elected official with your own department, with your own low pay scale.
Right.
So there's this real, and I watched it, this real rub between, we've got to get this pay up for officers, and what about my clerks, and what about my employees?
Right.
At the other county department, other county offices.
Right.
They've got a point.
Yeah.
I mean, they got, we need law enforcement, but we also need other county employees.
If you want to see something drastically just bomb apart as far as police, the same situation, but Bay City's in a smaller realm. Let's go back to 2005, 6, and 7 in New Orleans, where they had this exact, and I'm telling you, to a T. You can go back and look at it. You can look it up. Teacher salaries were low, crazy low. Police were walking out of their cars and just leaving them parked alongside of the road and walk home. But the New Orleans Saints, they got a new contract, and the old man, he got his yacht, and that was on the front page 3 days later while they were still cleaning up from Katrina. He was trying to negotiate. He figured, what a better time than us going on. You want us to stay, or do you want us to go? They were all packed up and ready to go, but
my gosh,
the governor took a lot of that money, and later on found out that some of that FEMA money went to keep a football team there. So I certainly hope, and I'm seeing a little bit of that trend going on. You really need to take care of law enforcement, the people who protect us, protect my home, protect my family.
Right.
Those. You can't just think about yourself in this situation. And I also want the teachers. I really do. The teachers need to get paid, because the only way I know my kid's going to have a guaranteed great education is if you're paying good teachers good money. That scares me. That scares me, because you can put any Tom, Dick, and Harry in there and say, hey, I'm going to give you $25,000, $30,000 a year. Go babysit. You know, it's just
Yeah.
no. I want somebody in there with that has good qualifications, that represents the school, that represents
certified teacher
certified teacher
with a degree.
with a degree, taking care of my kid. You know, so that I
Yeah.
mean, now I ain't got to worry about that no more. She's graduated, so I ain't got to
There
worry.
you go.
But
But
you
we've
know,
got a lot of our future still in those schools.
yeah,
And we've got, you've got to educate them.
yeah,
I think the state did a pretty good job this year. Let me tell you what scares me. We have got bukus and bukus of what I would call extra money sticking in the rainy day fund because oil and gas has been phenomenal, right?
yeah.
There's going to be a day come that, and we're spending this money, and I agree it's our money. I agree it's taxpayer money. We overpaid. But I will tell you that there's going to be a downturn in the future.
Yep.
And we keep allocating, and I'm going to vote for all the amendments in November. I am, because we need to develop water. We need to develop nuclear power. We need to develop flood control, and there's going to be dollars assigned to all of those categories, and I agree with every one of them.
Yeah.
But when we start going up we raise our taxes to a point where we're covering all of these costs, and we have a downturn in the economy, it's going to be painful at a time when we as the citizens can least afford the pain. And I want my elected officials thinking about that.
Right.
Now, there's the 5 council members and the mayor. I was corrected the other day. They now consider the mayor a part of council, or maybe the mayor told me that. And so I know every one of them. I talked to every one of them. I believe that every one of them have the desire to serve, the servant attitude, and they're every Tuesday they're meeting about the budget and going over it line item by line item by line item. And those that won't go sit in the meetings or won't watch the meetings on the computer, but yet you've got your own thought process. My answer is kind of like we've been saying, you run for office. You run. If you've got a better way, if you can build a better mousetrap, then you run. Tell us what your plans are. Tell us why you have a better idea than anybody else, and get elected. And then go in there and convince your other elected individuals to see your vision.
That's right.
But people won't do that. So they don't read the local newspapers. They don't listen to local radio stations. They're listening to streaming services now. And I'm talking more about not my age folks, but my kids' age. And they don't read magazines, and they how does elected officials, how does public information officer, how do we communicate with people where they can hear our message? And I don't know that answer, Jeff.
Yeah.
We are trying everything I know to do to get our message out effectively and clearly and communicate it. I'm saying that there are people in our community, in our state, in our nation that needs to do a little bit of their own homework and figure out where can they go and learn about the city budget. Where can they learn about the county budget? They have to invest in just a little bit instead of being this all-knowing expert based on absolutely nothing. And when you've done your homework and you can tell me that the pool ought to be free, then show me where the money comes from that makes it free. And I've even heard it with some racial overtones, that they went up because they don't want certain race kids swimming in the pool. Well, that's utter crazy crap.
Yeah, I saw that. I was going to mention something about it, but I let people drown in their own sweat. I don't know if you ever heard that saying before, but I let people drown in their own sweat. And for somebody to bring that up, to say, and I saw, the two people that we're talking about was James and the other councilman that started the conversation. And that's so you're doing this so you don't want black kids in the pool and this and that. It's not, has nothing to do. Where people just pull, and I'm going to say this because it's me saying it, but people pull shit out of their ass. I'm so tired of hearing just somebody coming up and boom, pulling this out. Then it starts World War III.
Right.
And then somebody says something, and then you're offended by that. Please give me a break. If you're offended by me, turn me off. Just go away. You can tell me. I don't care what you call me, how you say, or what you do. You don't take care of me and my family. I don't care. I'm not going to post stupid stuff on Facebook when I'm mad about something. I'm going to knock on your door, and then I'm going to say, "Hey, you got a problem with me, or something I said, or something I did?" Or people stop at the shop. Come to the shop. I'm very easy to find. I'm a fat boy, probably the fattest one in Matagorda County. You can find me. There's a few other fat ones like, Bubba and a couple others, but I won't. Hey, but I'm just tired of it. I'm tired. Yeah. I want to tell you this. You were just talking about this, and I wanted to bring this up one time about where are people getting their news information from? Okay, so just to give you an idea, print publications in 2024, 6%. So 6% of people were getting their stuff from the newspaper. In television, 33% were getting their information on television. On radio, 11% in 2024, and digital devices. And this is an age group between 20 and 60 are getting their information 57% on digital devices.
Wow.
And that has jumped up tremendously. It actually went down in 21 and 22 and then jumped back up in 23 and 24.
Okay.
So, yes, people are going. I think the reason people will go to platforms like Facebook and stuff, they're looking for what they want to hear.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like that guy. Oh, that guy. I'm right, because that guy don't like him either. So I must be right about that. So this guy don't like him either. So you got 5-6 crazies in a room, and they're all going to sit there and
beating each other,
and it's just going to turn into a fester mound. And this guy does this, and he did. Oh my God, yeah, he did this. It's not true. It's not true. That's why Andy and I have such a hard time with the weather crap. They started doing it again this past week. Oh, look at the GFS. We're going to get a hurricane in the center of the Gulf. And then, no, you're not. You're not going to happen. Somebody posted one of Mike's weather pages today on Facebook from last July that said there's a huge storm coming in the Gulf. I'm like,
oh my God.
Yeah, they copied it, pasted it, and took the date away. And then I'm like, that can't be right. We've been following this. I'm like, am I going crazy? Then I saw a little thing that was blurred out that said 2024. And I was like, you got to be kidding. So people will play the game.
They're playing games.
And they play the game, but they don't, again, you want to play the game, but you don't want to get in the arena. So, I'm telling you, you can stand outside as, what's that gladiator? You can stand outside and be a gladiator and go, yeah, if I was in there, I'd poke that lion till his eyeballs popped out and did this and that. But then when they throw your ass in there, you're like, get me out of here. Get me out of here. It's that crazy. Exactly right. That's what politics is. Okay. Politics.
I know.
But I wish a lot of people get on the same page about the pool. The YMCA does a great job on this. I talked about this before. way before the YMCA even said they were coming along. You can ask Mitch. I talked about this 2-3 years ago. I said, man, the YMCA would come along just like they did in Palestine, come and take over the pool. It would be perfect. You don't have nothing to worry about. It gets taken care of. You can close your eyes. You can sleep at night. You don't have to worry about the damn pool. And it's taken care of.
It's funny, too, because guess what company manages more pools nationwide than any other company?
The YMCA.
YMCA.
Yeah, I know
They're
that.
the largest, and one of the things that helps is they buy in bulk.
Yes,
so all the YMCA's in Texas buy in bulk.
Right.
So it's buying it cheaper.
Right, that's right.
They got the managerial staff. They've got now. They're going to have to hire lifeguards locally.
Right. But the way they make their money is by donation. Young Men's Christian Association. That's what it stands for. Just for you people that don't know what YMCA stands for, right. Young Men's Christian Association. They do fundraisers. They also do. They have daycares.
Grant writers. A lot of grants.
That's what If you go and look at PBS and what PBS is, YMCA is sort of the on ground thing. It's has a lot to do with the same thing.
Right.
But they have special events for elderly folks. They have different people sending sending money to them, and they got kids after school programs, kids camps, all that other stuff.
Yeah,
I remember selling mints as a kid so I can go to the summer camp for a week, and then, hey, do you want to go next week? Yeah, you got to sell more. You got to sell more mints. All right, well, let me do it again. So. But the YMCA, let the YMCA do what they got to do. And let me tell you something. I don't care if you're black, white, Mexican, Indian, Asian, whatever you are. You're not going to get stopped from going in the pool. You're going to get stopped from going in the pool if you act like an ass. Right. That's what they will take care of. They'll ban you from it.
And $4 is nothing. Now I will tell you. I'll tell you what did. Because I don't know what a coffee costs. I don't buy coffee in the fancy coffee houses, but I think they're more than $4.
Yes.
But what I did appreciate was there's a lot of people that came to the defense of the city, the pools, the YMCA, whatever.
Yes.
And said, wait a minute, Lake Jackson's $10, El Campo's $7, we're $4.
That's right.
Wait a minute. Now, but no. Then the jerk got on there that talked about he went when he was a kid, he didn't have to pay but 25 cents, And then everybody talking about the dollar.
Hey, I got a whirlpool at my house. You can come for 25 cents. It's a little small, but you got to push that handle down. You can stand in it, and 25 cents every time. Go ahead.
I know. Yeah. And then one, I don't remember what I paid. It was close to $100. When I took Carolyn and I took our grandkids to Great Wolf Lodge, she and I had no intentions of getting in the water, and nor did I get in the water. But I still had to pay the entry fee because there was a complaint because they have cost as well.
Sure.
And I got that. I had a choice of going or not going. Now, if it had been my kids, I wouldn't pay a dime for them, but my grandkids, I'll pay anything for them.
Yeah. No, it's the YMCA is a great organization. That's all I'm going to say. Very great organization.
I really, and they've been first class working.
Oh, yes.
With Jessica on the new natatorium swim area. That's a $15 million facility. The county's gone in. They're going to partner. The city's partnering. The hospital is going to be on that committee.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be owned by the Community Development Corporation.
Yeah.
But managed by the YMCA. And that was one of our Achilles heels when we were talking about when we were in the beginning stages. Nobody wanted to own it, and nobody wanted to manage it. And you kept trying to hand it off to the other organization.
Yeah.
No, you do it. No, you do it. No, I don't want to do it. You do it. No, I don't. Nobody wanted to own it. Well, the CDC has stepped up. They're going to own it. And thank God the YMCA is come to town.
And folks out there, Just because it's new to you doesn't mean it's new to them. They know what they're doing. And
They
someone's
do. They do
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Well, and now they're running the Palacios City Pool.
yeah.
They're running all, as far as I know. I don't know about El Campo yet, but they're running an awful lot uh, of the pools in the region, Port Lavaca,
Yep.
Victoria.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of synergy, let's say, in our region for them coming in and winning it. But
And by the way, you can go online and research them and where their locations are. They have a whole map out there with different states. You click on a state, then it goes to the county, whatever county you're looking for. YMCA pool. They do have a great website for you to check.
And the other thing for people to realize, they also have grants, and
Yeah.
they also have if you're and what was else I was listening to? They have specials. So if you can't afford $4, go when it's $2. They're special nights and special days. I don't remember what they are.
Yep.
But they even have scholarship
Programs, yes, yeah.
Where you might qualify to go for nothing. So
Yep.
do your homework. I asked a guy my age or older. I said, "You're not a keyboard warrior like this," and he goes, "Oh yeah, I am now." He accused me of doing something that I didn't do. Accused me of having nefarious reasons, which were all false. It was based on a picture that we took. I'm not going to go into the details, but it had to do with a picture that showed up in the paper. And the only people in the picture were city police officers. So they just assumed that was the only people we invited to the lunch was city police officers.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the only people that I could get to go into the picture was the city police officers. And it was because Chief Lister was there and he said, "Get in the picture." And the sheriff's deputies didn't get in the picture. First responders didn't get in the picture. The EMS folks didn't get in the picture, but they were all at the luncheon. But because there was only city officers in the picture that we put in the paper, he assumed that was the only one. So that's not doing your homework. Jeff just told you, you got to get up, you got to do your homework.
Right.
And I think Facebook has a position, and there's a new situation that I've been reading about. Everybody's been reading about it with the city and the inspection department.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know who the city's using for an inspection department, but evidently there are some business owners. I know one personally. I won't name his name, but he did have problems with the city inspectors, and he quit his project. It's halfway through. You drive by it most every day. The Landmark building, it's done. It's going to sit there until it falls in because the owner and the inspection department couldn't come to an agreement.
Okay, hang on 1 second. Can't he register that as a historical building, and then the historic society takes over and says, "Hey, this is what you can and can't do in that building"?
No, and now there's a couple of yeses in there, but
Okay.
Nothing overrides the building code. So whatever, and some of the problem that I see, and this is just Mitch Thames.
Now, what you say nothing overrides the building code. That would be the building code for Bay City or the state?
Bay City. Well, both. There's a building code for the state, but then the city has its own building code.
But wouldn't the state override the city?
Depends.
Just a thought.
I don't.
Just a thought. I don't know.
I mean that's a lawyer's question. I don't know. I imagine there are some things. I will tell you that when I was very active with council, they were trying to pass a electrical update to the code. I know that council just passed another update. Now this is Mitch Thames' fix. I'm not offering this as anything. I think we need several building code levels. The city of Galveston, if you're a historic building, there's a different building code that you have to meet than if you're building a brand new building.
That's correct. And it's the same way in Palestine.
Okay. And I have not met anybody building a brand new building that doesn't want to meet whatever the current codes are.
Correct.
I've asked all the builders out in the new subdivisions, and I said, "Are y'all having problems?" They said, "No, we're not having a bit of problem at all." Right. You've got new hotels going in, no problem with a brand new build. The problem comes in when you buy an old historic building and you're trying to modify it to the current high building code standards.
Isn't there a grandfather clause on any of these buildings?
That's a good question, and I think the answer is yes. But and so when a new building owner comes on, and you have to get a new certificate of occupancy, I think you have to meet the new code, whatever the new code is. The problem is, and there's a piece of derelict building sitting on 7th Street, right next to Fat Grass, that used to be the old pet shop.
That's right.
And nobody wants that building. It's not because of the cost. It's because of the fear of what it would cost to bring it to code. And so they just let it sit there with the windows falling out. And they just sit there and let it deteriorate, kind of like the Landmark building now. It's going to sit there and deteriorate because that owner is not going to do one more thing, in his words, because of the way he was treated by the inspection department. You can all read about the controversy with the building that just sold recently on 6th Street. I'll let you make your own decision. I'm not getting in the middle of that. But I do know for a fact that I had an opportunity to buy an older building right next to Whataburger. And I had a deal, 2-story there next to the studio or the salon. I had it priced out. It was going to be $87,000 for the building. But I was scared to death what it would cost to bring it to code. And so I passed on it. So it still sits there, orange, and a piece of crap because of that. And so I think we need a 2 or 3 tiered building code levels for historic buildings. And you don't have to rewrite. You don't have to invent the wheel. You can get Galveston and see what they're doing or Palestine, what they're doing with their historic building. And so I'll tell you a perfect example, and this goes years back. Nobody's even still here anymore. When they tore down the McDonald's, Fred Lieblein was building it back, wanted to build it back in record time because he was losing money. And the building inspector came in and signed off on the building. He starts building it. Then he comes back and says, you don't have a sprinkler system. And he said, well, you didn't require a sprinkler system. He goes, yeah, you got to have a sprinkler system. And he goes, well, you signed off on this. Here, isn't this your signature that I could open? Yep, that's my signature. But you're going to have to close for another 30 days, spend another $30,000, probably lose $100,000 in hamburger sales, and put in a sprinkler system. And so the stories in town are mounting up. And again, I'm not getting in the middle of it. I don't know what the answer is.
I told you mine. What I went through.
I know.
With the damn awning. And Happy Radio.
It's real. We as a community, we need to decide which direction we want to go, and we need because when somebody asks me, I get this a lot. Why are they building a brand new strip center when Why are they building a brand new strip center when there's so many derelict old buildings in town? Because it's cheaper to build on a blank slate than it is to remodel an existing building.
Well, I think that's
it's
not right.
Cheap.
Yeah,
it's
just
cheaper. It's less problems.
Well,
but you want things nice,
right? Well, if every building downtown is old and has to be updated, not everybody has the money. So the downtown's going to go to crap, and the outer edges are going to go good.
Well, look what happened to Rosenberg.
Right, Rosenberg.
You go into old downtown Rosenberg,
right?
And I don't know, everything's moving out on the freeway. I think that has more dynamics than just building code.
I know. We in Madisonville. If you drive through Madisonville now, the whole square was all redone, and the county got together to do something about that to restore some of those businesses and outers. They put different storefronts on them to make it look like they were from the old times. Same thing in Centerville. They restored the old courthouse, made it original, make it look good, everything. It's like, what do you want? And if you want something, tell us. What is it that you want? But then let us know, too, saying, okay, well, the old buildings are going to fall down. Unless somebody can come in here. It's very hard to take some of these old buildings that have concrete floors and change the plumbing, change this, change that.
Oh, no.
It's terrible. It's hard. Even the wiring. That building that you're talking about, that's 2 doors up from the old Happy Radio Fat Grass right there.
Yeah.
That's back in the old days when they were running the electrical wires through the Hollywood blocks.
Right.
So that means where would you put it? You have to put all the electrical outlets on the outside of the wall, or, why can't they just simplify it and say, okay, listen, this is what we got with these buildings here. We know you can't go absolutely new or to today's standard. In today's standards or codes, they're they're concrete buildings. Now I know that old building that you're talking about there in the corner of the old what was it, Mitch, the Landmark building. It has wooden floors and things like that. But structurally on the outside, that thing is solid, probably better than crap they're building today. Because that was a bank, wasn't it? Yes, and I know some of the walls downstairs were a lot thicker for some reason, but anyway, work. Instead of saying no, it's much easier to say, let's look into it. I'll work with you. Why can't that happen? Why can't we get back to that? That's the way I remember in the 80s, it used to be like that. You know what? Let's look into it. We'll work together and get it. I'm going to tell you something. This is honest to God's truth. When I was 12 years old, there was an old firehouse. But you remember the old garage, the big tall garage doors, and they kept the horse stalls in there and the brass pole and everything come down. Well, they wanted to tear down this firehouse. And I asked the mayor, whose name was Joe Dodona, and you can look it up. You can go on and look in the morning call back in 1970, whenever the hell it was. I don't remember, 76 or whatever. So I'm in 6th grade, and I had this idea about let's try to save this firehouse, because in the basement, it had the basement, and my dad had a boxing gym down underneath it, down on the bottom. And the firehouse had the old wooden floors and the big, tall glass windows and everything. And I said, let's see if we can't get this restored. So I go to Joe Dodoni. He says, well, what do you think you would want to do with it? And I said, look, make it a town's community center. We don't have a community center over there. We got to save this building and keep it together. And you know what? That's what they did. I got to cut the ribbon with Billy Joel at the time and we're living here in Allentown. That's where I came from. To cut the ribbon with Billy Joel and meet over at that firehouse, and we did a ribbon cutting ceremony. And I remember I was in 7th grade. It was a big article, but 7th grader saves one of Allentown's oldest buildings. And the damn building was built in like 1801. So I wanted to save it, at least do something with it. So they worked together, and they put lights in, worked and so.
It doesn't appear that that's the case. I don't know why.
You could be strict on certain things. I get it, but work with these people to fill these buildings up. Don't make them slum things. You're already paying top dollar for them, for God's sakes. I know that. I looked into that that strip. As a matter of fact, back at the radio, when Happy Radio, we were looking for a little bit bigger building. We were going to go and buy that building over there we were looking at that other building, the one next to Fat Grass, but it had needed a lot of work, and it was a lot of work, and they wanted a lot of money back then. But you can't go and sell something for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 that's a wreck, and then have somebody come in and spend another $1 million to repair it. And,
I know.
Yeah, it's not going to work. Work with these people. You know, we used to have a saying in wrestling: "Let's get asses in the seats. Get asses in the seats. Get asses in the seat. You make more money when you have asses in the seats." Work with these people, and you know, people that they want to invest in your town. They want to invest in your town.
Yeah,
you know, help them invest. You know, do what you got to do. Oh my gosh, it's 8:05.
All right, but before we go, a side die today, legislature is out of session. They locked the doors to the Capitol, kicked everybody out. No, I'm just kidding. But the session is over.
Yeah,
we'll see what all the bills get signed by the governor.
Yeah,
I know he's catching a lot of hell today on banning the THC.
Yeah.
But we do have AJ is coming to town. He's going to be our chamber luncheon speaker on the 12th of June.
Right.
Give us a little background on what happened. I will tell you, congratulations to AJ. He and Senator Huffman got Matagorda County as designated as the birding capital of Texas.
Yep.
For 10 years now. Depending on the governor signing it, of course, but it passed the House and the Senate, sent on to the governor.
Right.
I got a budget, 380. What did I tell you, Jeff? $383 billion budget.
Yes.
$338 billion budget's gone to the comptroller, property tax relief for homeowners, pay raises for teachers, cash for private school tuition. All the things we've been talking about all of this time. So I don't know if there's going to be a special session. My gut tells me not. There were a couple of bills that did not make it. Well, there's probably thousands and thousands and thousands that did not make it. But because I think there was 8,200 bills filed. I heard somebody say that this was a record low turnout of bills passed. I don't know if that's true, but we'll see. AJ will come tell us. I'm very proud of that young man.
Well, he's doing good. He really is. I was going to play a clip today. I'll save it.
Okay.
I'll save it. And he's doing really, really good.
Now, I'll say it two ways, Jeff. I've never seen a state rep work so hard, much less a freshman.
Well, his name should have been his motto should be "Get her done."
I know,
get her done.
Get her done. He's a real guy. He is just as genuine. I've had the opportunity now to talk to him on multiple occasions, formally and informally, and I mean he's the same both ways. I knew the young man when he was sheriff and when he ran for Congress. And I even took a handgun course from him, although we will not talk about his grading of my handgun skills.
Okay, fine.
It was not pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But he tried to blame the handgun, but I really know that wasn't the handgun. It was me. The handgun was brand spanking.
A lot of you don't know this about Mitch. He was going to be a state police officer, and he ended up being a Walmart greeter just because of that handgun thing. That's what
couldn't get the handgun thing.
He's a greeter. But
well, as always, Jeff, I got a million more things to talk about, but it'll still be hot and heavy next Monday.
Yeah, it will be. I am sure. Just a quick note, Andy and I and Dan Riley and some folks on the National Weather Service, I'm getting them all together to put together a hurricane awareness for Matagorda County, what you can do, what you can't do, what you should look forward to this year, and everywhere you need to go as far as hurricane preparedness goes and where and what to watch for when all this social media stuff starts popping out. I can tell you, make sure you go to Gulf Coast One Radio, because I don't know if you all saw it last week, oh my God, the GFS had this special hurricane coming up into the Gulf. It's not happening. It's not happening. I'll just let you know. So Andy and I are working on something right now. He's got his grandkids. We're putting something together. Should have it ready by the end of the week, and it will stay on the website throughout the hurricane season on the YouTube channel, and you'll be able to watch it. And Mitch will be a part of the show. And we're trying to get as many emergency management people. Maybe we'll try to get Amanda on, talk a little bit with her, and fire departments, sheriff's departments, everything like that. If you want to be a part of that show and you have something you'd like to have an input on, you can email me, and I'm going to give you my email, which is jeffmichaels65@gmail.com. That's jeffmichaels65@gmail.com. Email me and be a part of great information. On behalf of myself, Jeff Michaels, and the lovely and talented Mitch Thames, thanks for watching another edition of Inside Texas. We'll see you all next time.